What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So today I want to talk about the nerf for the Kilo 141 because I know a lot of people have been wanting a nerf like this for quite a while, and the nerfs that it has received in the past weren't really that great. For the most part, they were just reload nerfs and just, adding more weight to the gun so it wouldn't be so light and stable. I think the recoil buff was also added to the weapon a while back. I think like the season after it got released, because what I remember is that the vertical recoil was pretty high when it first came out, but for very good reason, but then they stabilized it, making it a completely monstrous meta weapon. This is something that I actually predicted that would happen once the gun was actually released. So, of course, the Kilo in Modern Warfare wasn't really that great. If anything, it's probably one of the lesser assault rifles in that game. And that's mainly because the headshot multiplier wasn't as deadly as it is right now. Well, previously before it got nerfed. So I think the headshot multiplier was probably the biggest issue with the Kilo. Everything else about it was okay. I mean, the damage of 29 at close range, or I guess 25 in the second range, wasn't really that bad. I think most assault rifles should be allowed to have that type of range. But the problem lied with the headshot multiplier, which was probably its most deadly aspect of the weapon. I'm not too sure if I pointed that out when I was making the Damascus and Diamond video for the Kilo, but I knew right from the jump the headshot multiplier was a huge problem, and that's mainly because all you needed was one in order to secure a 3-shot kill. And whether or not you're on touch, emulator, or controller, getting a headshot with the Kilo specifically is a really easy thing to do. It's not rocket science. And given that flinch is still a thing in this game, sometimes you could end up hitting the enemy and, they could happen to land at least one shot to the head, and it's pretty much over for you. So that was another problem there. So of course, I mean, since, it's ranked, a lot of people are going to flock to the easiest thing possible, and that at the time was, of course, the Kilo. And since then, I mean, the damage has been reduced slightly to the point where it's enough that you have to get at least 2 headshots in order to secure a 3-shot kill. So that may not really sound like a huge deal on paper, but sometimes a lot of people do make those accidental headshots, and for the most part, sometimes they might only land one. So even if they do manage to land one, in this version of COD Mobile, they're still going to need 4 shots to kill you. It's not going to be something where, it doesn't matter which weapon you use, you're constantly going to lose against it. Now it's like most weapons now have a higher chance of beating other people that have the Kilo in their hands. Even Bobby Plays on Twitter, he mentioned the fact that now that you need 2 headshots to land a 3-shot kill, it makes the biggest difference in the world. Granted, the main headshot damage reduced from like 43 to like 40, so it wasn't really much of a major change, but when you're in a face-to-face gunfight, it's gonna make a huge difference because you could finally use, like, let's say an M13 or some other weapon, and you might have a much higher chance of defeating your enemy. So the question is now whether or not it's still meta. In my personal opinion, I think it still is. Of course, it's not at the top anymore. I think right now, from what I've been hearing, I think the M13 is back on top. It did get a nerf reduction. A range reduction. But, it wasn't really anything that severe, and, it's the M13. It's still going to reign supreme. And keep in mind that, in about 2 seasons, we're probably going to get a legendary for the M13 based on the pacing of how they've been releasing legendaries for weapons that have already received mythics. At first, we got the Fennec, and then eventually we got the Peacekeeper, the ASVAL, the Holger, and now, this season, or this past season, we did get the Rytech legendary skin, so it's safe to assume that at around maybe Season 5, Season 6, we're probably going to get a legendary for the M13. So I guess that's probably the reason as to why they haven't nerfed it to the ground completely. But keep in mind, with the Kilo, it still has extremely good movement, especially if you put no stock. Very, very good 4-shot range. So nothing really changed besides just the headshot damage. Other than that, the weapon is just fine. I still performed pretty decent without that huge headshot multiplier. And I think where it is right now, it's like the perfect balance. In reality, if it was like this from the very beginning, this weapon probably wouldn't be such a huge issue. I think it would be a very, very solid assault rifle, which it still will be. And keep in mind, the Mythic is still around, so, you're not going to nerf it to the ground completely after people spend like $150 to like $300 upgrading the whole Mythic weapon. So yeah, the way that they have it right now, I'm fine with it. I'm cool with it, so long as it just doesn't insta-kill me within 3 shots so easily. With the fire rate that it has, like, there's no reason. I feel like maybe the Man of War, because, you know, when you do hit in the head with that weapon, it is 40 damage by default. I would have understood if there was like some sort of large caliber ammo for the Kilo that would make the headshot damage that high. But in all sad reality, that wasn't the case. I mean, the Kilo for the most part just has extended mags, and there was no reason for it to have such a high headshot multiplier, very similar to the HVK, well, with large caliber. It just doesn't really make any sense to have such a high damage multiplier without some sort of large caliber attachment. So this is what I currently have as my main build for the Kilo. It's monolithic suppressor, no stock, OWC laser tactical, strike foregrip, as well as extended mag A. So I decided to kind of maximize the mobility while having a little bit extra range. But even then, I mean, it's still a very decent class up that I usually use with the Kilo. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mobile content. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.